All aboard. Welcome to another edition of Volunteer Channel TV. Today is the 12th February 2022. The month is almost half gone. If this is your first time coming across my channel, I'll say thank you. And please click that red subscribe button so that anytime I drop a video, it will come straight to you. And if you're already a subscriber, I say thank you and may God continue to bless you. Calling on my prayer warriors to continue praying for Mazim Nnamdi Kanu and the lawyers. Remember the 16th, which is on Wednesday by 1 p.m. Mazim Nnamdi Kanu is going to be appearing in court for his hearings. And we don't know if they're going to have a judgment made on that day, but we're hoping they do so that we can get this thing behind us. And we are hopeful that he will be released on that day unconditionally, and a date of referendum handed over to him, or we'll know the date for a referendum. Now, I have two clips I want to play in this, my first segment of this video here. You can listen to our intelligentsia, the professionals, and the elite. They are coming out. They are speaking, and they spoke well. Just listen, and we'll come back. I'm being joined by a foremost political economist, Professor Pat Utomi. He joins us from Lagos. Thank you so much, Prof, for joining us tonight. And let me wish you a happy birthday.
It's a great
I see
pleasure.
that you and some of your friends, thank you so much, Prof. I see that you and some of your friends are up to something with the idea of the third force. What is this really about?
Well, Shehu, to be very frank with you, I particularly do not like the name third force. What I like to think of is an alternative platform to give Nigerians real government. If you candidly look at Nigerian history, where we are, one thing is clear: our country has suffered great retrogression because of the failure of our political party system. I know this because I've been at the heart of the founding of a couple of the political parties. And some of the things that we have tried to put in place: transparent, accountable political processes, clear, thoughtful, strategies about how to make life better for every Nigerian. But it seems that the traditional crowd that hang around politics in Nigeria just want state capture. They just want power. They want machine politics to use to capture power. And they don't think clearly about what to do with it. If you look at where our country stands on every measure of performance, it's at the bottom. Every measure, think of it, around the world, with the kind of talent we have, that's not acceptable. So we begin to think there's need to reassess, to ask ourselves, how can we get out of this pit that we seem to have somehow dug for ourselves? And one clear way to do is to have another party. Look, the so-called major parties that exist presently are two sides of the same coin. So let's call that one party. It is meant for personal wranglings. If you are tired of what you've been given in this group, you move to the other group. If they don't treat you well personally, not about Nigeria, not about the future of the youth of Nigeria, not about anything, you go to the other side to see if you can get something more. I think Nigerians have had enough of that. So let's call them one party. That's why I don't like third force. Then we need another real political movement driven by ideas. And so the conversation has been how to bring together a number of people to found what I call the coalition of the willing and the dispossessed. What we mean by willing and dispossessed. Willing on the one hand because there are people who are willing to make the sacrifice to build a country. You take some of those people, and then you take people who have been dispossessed. Why dispossessed? One of the things happened with state capture in Nigeria is that those who have captured the Nigerian state basically try to exclude groups of Nigerians. For example, they exclude women. I mean, if you look at the number of women active in political life, in appointing positions, whether it's in the National Assembly or in cabinets, compare with Rwanda, compare with many small African countries, you will see that there is a deliberate mindset on the part of those who run Nigeria today to exclude women. There's no question about that. How does a country make progress by excluding half of its population? It can't compete against those who use all of its population. You will see that there is a deliberate attempt to not only look down on young people, which is a tragedy for a country where the median age is about 18 years or something, to look down on young people, call them lazy and all kinds of things, when they can constitute the demographic dividend, when there should at least be a third of the cabinet, people under 40. I mean, people like us got into these kinds of positions at 27. The young people of today are brighter than I was at 27. So why are we excluding the young people of this country? It's not a matter of the future belongs to them. Now belongs to them. They are smarter than we were when we were their age. They are more exposed to the world. Technology gives them an advantage. But the capture politics of people who are driven by me, myself, and I excludes them, talks down on them. When they try to organize to say, look, there are things wrong in our country, and let's march, end SARS, they crush it with brutality. So this is a dispossessed part of our population. The professional group who just survive as the so-called complicit middle, like I call them, they're there, agitated, complaining only in their bedrooms. Then the intelligentsia. I remind people that when I was leaving the university in this country, Nigeria's output per person was twice that of China. And then China got a leadership that began to understand better what makes for progress. And the first emphasis of that leadership under Deng Xiaoping was intellect. Go and read all the speeches that Deng made in 1978. It was about intellect and how China must turn to people of intellect to set its future course. So what do we see? One generation, 30 years later, China's output per person is 30 times that of Nigeria. It shows that there's something to say for intellect. But the current politicians in Nigeria manage to despise intellect. They disregard professionals. They have contempt for youth. And they have absolute disregard for women. And so a coalition of these groups, powered by a new thinking, by religious leaders, Christian, Muslim, that this is a leadership of disaffection that has brought us to this insecurity that we have in our country. This is a leadership of exclusion.
Senator Ayim Pals Ayim, former president of the Senate and secretary to the government of the Federation between 2011 and 2015, is leaving no stone unturned to emerge the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 general election. In this regard, he has reportedly reached out to ex-presidents Olusegun Obasanjo, Goodluck Jonathan, and former Generals Ibrahim Babangida and Abdulsalami Abubakar. The former Senate president has also held meetings with the former Minister of Defense, General Theophilus Danjuma, Chief Arthur Eze, and Chief Emmanuel Nwanyawu, who blessed and endorsed his presidential bid. He has equally met some influential northern traditional rulers like the Emir of Lafia, who also endorsed his presidential aspiration. But as he crisscrosses the country to sell his candidacy, he has placed considerable emphasis on the emergence of a president from the southern section of the country, and particularly the southeast zone. Meanwhile, he has said very little on his agenda for Nigeria or how he intends to turn around the socio-economic fortunes of the country. Now joining us to speak on his plans for Nigeria and his chances of clinching the ticket of the PDP is Senator Ayim Pals Ayim, former President of the Senate and former Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Good morning, Senator Ayim, and thank you for joining us on the morning show.
Good morning, Ruben.
Good morning. Well, quickly, let's go straight to business. What are you bringing to the table? What are your plans for Nigerians? What are you offering if you were to become president of Nigeria?
Well, that's a huge question. But I will start by saying that, of course, you know my history, my pedigree, so to say. So I understand the country, I understand the challenges, and I think I have clarity on what the solutions could be. But let me say in summary that it is going to be my commitment to rebuild the country. And when I talk about rebuilding the country, of course, it's a whole huge lot of things to talk about. We talk about, I believe that the country, I can segment it this way. We have foundational issues, we have economic issues, we have issues of development. And if for any reason you jump one to the other, like many people will just get up and say they will recalibrate the security architecture, they will do this, I think they are missing the point. For me, I believe that we have certain fundamental issues that we need to address and get the country on its feet. One, for instance, we need to have a consensus on the structure of the country or the nation. We also need to have a consensus on the ideals, the dream of the nation, or if you like, the aspirations of the nation. We also need to have a consensus on the governmental systems that will work for us. So for me, I will take, first and foremost, my commitment, the first steps I will take will be to build consensus on this. Because what people fail to understand is that it's not a matter of generating policy and throwing it at the people. The success of any government's policy will depend largely on how much the people were able to buy into it. And to buy into this, you need to harvest the perspectives of the various segments of the society and bring it together to a point that you have a consensus. I want to say that the whole idea of consultation, which I am doing presently, is to harvest the perspectives of very different stakeholders in the country and weld them together. Immediately I step in as president, build consensus on what works for all of us, on what is acceptable to all of us, then run with it. On economic issues, I am convinced that the 21st century, particularly the second half of 21st century we are moving into, it's not like any time before. So for me, the drivers of the economy will now be on industrialization or manufacturing, if you care, talent and innovation, science and technology. These certainly are going to be the key drivers of the economy of the second half of 21st century. And I will develop this, build on this, and prepare Nigeria to fit into the fourth industrial revolution. That will create jobs. That obviously will expand the economy. That will make the economy more competitive and more dynamic, and it will diversify the economy. I will also focus on the enablers of development, the factors, the things, the circumstances, the situations that promotes prosperity and development, like security, like education, like governance issues. And when I mean governance issues, it means consistent policies, it means regulatory issues and all that. Then the legal framework and all that. So those issues, the enabling issues are critical to make the economic challenges, the economic pillars work. And the fundamental issues will generate patriotism that will drive the whole system. And I can tell you that if I become president of Nigeria, I will approach rebuilding the country from these three perspectives, segment them properly, pursue them with commitment and determination, and for sure we will deliver results.
Yes, you guys listened to both of them. They spoke well. These two gentlemen, they spoke well. Great ideas. Yes, they have great ideas, but Nigeria is not going to work. Everybody knows what is going on in Nigeria. The U2 knows what is going on in Nigeria. You got people like Governor Mahi is coming out to run, Peter Obi is coming out to run, Ojus Okalo is coming out to run, Rochas Okorocha, and the likes. I mean, there's a whole load of people in Biafra land that are well qualified to be president of Nigeria, but the Fulanis are not going to let you. The Fulanis are not going to let you because they despise you. They don't like you. And you're still a one Nigerianist. It's not going to work. Where were you guys when Buhari was elected in the office? Where were you guys? A man without a certificate and a professor of law became his vice president. Where were you guys? And, I just don't understand how come you guys are coming out now. One while Nigerians were yelling and calling on the professionals, the intelligentsia, the professionals, the professors, the chiefs, the governors to come out and speak to power. But everybody kept quiet. Everybody kept quiet. Nobody said nothing. But now this is the result. Our people are being killed. Our people are being murdered. I mean, in the four corners of the country. So this is the time that we are hoping that you guys will galvanize yourselves, put yourselves together, and join this struggle. Because you guys are well qualified to pilot the affairs of Biafra. Because, we're looking forward that you guys will be there to support the struggle, to put things in shape for Biafra. But you're not doing that. You are not doing that. So put yourselves together and join the struggle, because we all are going to benefit. We cannot continue to die. We cannot continue to die. We say no to that. Join the moving train so that Biafra will be resurrected, Biafra will be restored, and everybody go their way. Thank you. Now there's another magic Fulani has in store. They are going to shock Nigerians. It's rumoring, and when things start rumoring, there's an atom of truth in that. The appeals court has adjourned the case for Atiku Abubakar versus Muhammadu Buhari for the 2019 election. On that day, if they annul that election, which is null and void, so that means the 3 years Muhammadu Buhari has been in the office will be null and void. Atiku Abubakar would take up the regime from there. Then he has 4 years to go before another election. Before another election will be held. So professionals, intelligentsia, are you all thinking? Are you all seeing what Fulanis are up to? Well, you think about it, because with this struggle for Biafra, there's nothing anybody can do to stop this movement, because this ideology is embedded in the unborn. So Biafra is going to be resurrected. It's going to be restored, whether anybody likes it or not, or we all die. So get that in your head. You all spoke fine, but this is the time for you guys to galvanize yourselves and put yourselves in order and pilot this affair for Biafra so that we can move on. There's a lot of killings going on in Nigeria and we cannot take it anymore. We cannot take that killings anymore. Before you know it, we'll be depleted because that's what they are doing. They're killing all our youths. They are killing all our youths, which every one of you know. Every one of you know what is going on in Nigeria. You can't say you are blind to that. Thank you for watching this, and I'm going to go to my next topic, which is COVID. COVID is real in Nigeria. I'm going to put another clip on here for you to watch, to see the progression of COVID in Nigeria.
The United Nations Children's Fund has revealed that Nigeria has so far received over 60 million vaccines from different sources since the vaccine rollout began in the country. This was disclosed at the weekly update meeting on the progress of the COVID-19 vaccination update by the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
The 14th press briefing actually.
This is the first meeting with the agency for this year. A little over 5 million eligible Nigerians have received their first and second jabs. Part of this progress report has revealed that Nigeria has so far received more than 60 million doses of vaccines. The agency begins with an update on the inclusion of childhood vaccination for children within the age range of 0 to 23 months at COVID-19 vaccination sites.
Alongside the COVID-19 vaccines, childhood vaccines will also be available at the COVID-19 vaccination sites. Consequently, parents and guardians with children aged 0 to 23 months are urged to take them along to the vaccination sites.
In 2021, just over 40 million were received, and so far in 2022, 21.9 million vaccines have been received and given to Nigeria.
Although the number of vaccinated is not evenly distributed across states, some have been highlighted for their outstanding progress in the vaccination process. Others have also been urged to revitalize efforts, with leadership playing a key role in mobilization.
Our deep dive into the state's performances revealed that Nasarawa, Jigawa, the Federal Capital Territory, Ogun and Kwara states have remained the top 5 performing states on COVID-19 vaccine uptake.
The challenge now is to ensure that we remain at a minimum of 200,000 a day, but increase that to 300,000 a day so that we can meet our target during the course of 2022.
There was an increase of cases over the holidays as many variants sprung up, affecting mainly the unvaccinated population. The agency affirms that it has increased access to ensure that more Nigerians get their jabs.
If you haven't had your shots, this is the time to go get your shots. Get your shot, your vaccine shots, to protect yourself from COVID. It is real. Continue to wear your mask, wash your hands, social distancing is encouraged. Please do all of this so that you'll be alive to see disintegration of Nigeria, period. I'll go to my next topic, which is men. Please watch this clip, very important. If you're over 50 and above, watch this clip. It's going to help you in life about prostate. BPH, benign prostate hyperplasia. Please watch it and take care of yourself. We'll come back and conclude.
So let's discuss what's behind an enlarged prostate that could potentially affect your urination. Now, it is true that when men age, their prostate actually does enlarge. And take a look at where the prostate is located. It's a gland that wraps around this little tube that's coming from your urinary bladder. So as you increase the size of that prostate, it's going to shut down that tube and it's going to affect your ability to urinate. And so the doctor puts you on a certain medication like Flomax, an antibiotic, and maybe you'll do some blood tests, and then I'll see you in 6 months. But my question is, what is causing the enlarged prostate? If you take a look at all of your hormones, they can be classified really in two different categories. One category is called anabolic, and the other category would be catabolic. Now, anabolic has everything to do with building something up, and catabolic is breaking something down. So when you eat food, you have this catabolic effect, all these enzymes that break down food into their basic building blocks: amino acids, fatty acids, glucose, etc. And then you have all the anabolic hormones that kick in and take these building blocks and make body tissue out of them. And so when the prostate enlarges, it's obvious that you have this anabolic thing going on, right? If we take a look at all the anabolic hormones, we have prolactin, which, and maybe you've heard of prolactin with women in breastfeeding, but men also have prolactin. And if the prolactin is too high, it can definitely increase the size of the prostate. And then estrogen itself can increase the size of the prostate, and estrogen also increases the release of prolactin. So then you have other hormones like DHT, which is a very powerful form of testosterone, and androgens, cortisol, growth hormone, IGF-1, which is kind of the extension of growth hormone. It's made by the liver, it's stimulated by growth hormone, definitely will increase the prostate. And you have progesterone and insulin, which is a very powerful anabolic hormone. And so let's take a look here. What food or thing has the majority of these hormones that you might be consuming on a regular basis? Milk. Milk is a very powerful anabolic substance that is turned into cheese, yogurt, kefir, and milk contains the majority of these anabolic hormones. And so if you have urination problems or your prostate is enlarged, you need to get off milk and milk products 100%. Okay, that's number one. Now, number two is insulin. What triggers insulin? Sugar, a high carb diet. So if your prostate is enlarged or you have urination problems, you need to get off sugar and go on a ketogenic plan. If you're new to my channel, I put a link down below. And then we have estrogen. Okay, so estrogen can come from many different sources. Soy is a big source of estrogen. So if you're consuming anything like soy milk or soy protein isolates as a protein in maybe a diet shake that you're taking, or you're not consuming organic foods, you just have commercial vegetables or commercial foods which have a lot of chemicals that mimic estrogen, that could be one big factor that's increasing the size of your prostate. Now, a lot of times people take natural remedies for the prostate, like saw palmetto. And because saw palmetto inhibits a certain enzyme that is normally converting testosterone into a very powerful form of testosterone called DHT, which can increase the prostate. But here's the problem. If you're taking saw palmetto on top of consuming a lot of milk products, eating a lot of sugar, potentially consuming some soy, it's not going to work. So I recommend cut out the dairy, get on a keto plan, make sure you don't consume anything that can stimulate estrogen. In addition to that, take some saw palmetto. Green tea is a great inhibitor of this enzyme. So are pumpkin seeds, zinc, and lycopene. Now, lycopene also has some great research that it can help shrink the prostate, and that would be high in tomatoes. So tomatoes would be a good food to consume if you have an enlarged prostate. So if you're going to tailor make a diet to someone with an enlarged prostate, not only healthy keto and intermittent fasting, but I would also consume more cruciferous vegetables, especially kale, because that's going to help balance your estrogen, and even beets.
Thank you for watching this week edition of Volunteer Channel TV. We are wishing you a very wonderful and blessed weekend. Take care of yourself. Until we come to you next week. And God bless. Remain blessed. Goodbye for now.